name's Sam and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, I am on a mission to create wealth and I want you to create wealth with me. So today we're going to go over how you can set up a business or a side hustle as a beginner. To give you a bit of background about me, I set up my first business when I was 18. I sold it when I was 22 and I have just left my corporate job to set up 2 additional businesses. So the first thing you need when you're trying to set up a business is an idea. So you might already have an idea and you want to know how to set up a business, which we will get into. But if you haven't got an idea, then what you need to think about is 2 things. 1, do you have a skill that someone will pay you for? And 2, does it solve a problem? So for me, my first business was a martial arts school. I had done it for 12 years. I had trained for 12 years and I had already coached people for about 3 years as an assistant before setting up. So I already had the skill and the knowledge, and it wasn't so much about trying to solve a problem, but I knew it was a service that I could provide that someone would pay me to do. So having already had that experience, I then had the ability to set up the business. Then the first of my 2 businesses that I have left my job for to set up on my own is, the first one is an accounts practice, which again is skill-based work. So I've been doing that for 8 years and I've worked at different businesses to get different experience. And now I'm at a point where I have enough skill and experience to set up my own business. And again, accounts are something that people with businesses have to file, so it's a skill that someone will pay me to do. And then the second business that I run is an online coaching business, and this one more plugs a problem. So this is for people that have a fitness goal. Maybe they're overweight and they just don't know how to get to their goal. They've been looking for answers, doing online research, trying loads of diets, and they just can't get there. My coaching plugs the problem that they have and gives them the solution. Obviously it comes with the skill again. So I started in Taekwondo, moved into the online fitness space, and then I've been coaching online fitness ever since then. So again, I do have the skill background, but this one more plugs a direct problem for my clients. So you might be 18 and you might be thinking, I don't have enough experience in anything yet to set up a business. I don't feel confident in that area, and that's absolutely fine. Keep doing what you're doing, especially if it's something that you're passionate about, and develop the skill in that, because in the future you can then set up a business. In the meantime, what I would do is look at digital marketing or something digital online. You can even go and create like books and things on Canva and sell them on Etsy, and that could be your first business. YouTube is a great tool, so you can learn how to do all of this online, create a digital product, sell it online, and that can be your first side business. The second thing that I would always advise, especially when you're younger, is to go for skills over money, which might sound crazy, but hear me out. So when I was 18, I joined my first ever accounts practice, and if I had joined one of the really big companies and got paid loads and loads of money, I would have learned a really small section of accounting, like maybe one specific thing in tax or one specific thing in audit. And then if I wanted to then go out on my own, that's the only skill or information that I know. I joined a smaller firm and I got exposed to tax, accounts, management accounts, bookkeeping, like a whole different variety of stuff within accounting. And then I moved into a bigger practice after that and got more experience with bigger clients. And then from there, I was able to combine those two skills together, and that's how I've been able to set up my own business. So unless you know from the get-go that you really want to just climb the ladder and get to the top, then yep, jump in at a big company. But if you're thinking that you might want to work for yourself one day, just so you have the time freedom, the money freedom, the holiday freedom to go away whenever you want, then I would always go for skills over money to start in your career. Okay, so hopefully now you have an idea of what you want to do for your business and how it's going to make you money, or who's going to pay you for it. Do you have a problem that you can solve for someone, or do you have a skill that someone needs that they will pay you for? Once you've decided that, then the next thing is to work out how to set up your business. So generally there's 2 routes that people go down when they're setting up a business. You can either set up as a sole trade or you can set up as a limited company. If you are starting out, you have no money, your product is very low risk, like if you're selling, I don't know, books online, you're probably not going to get sued for that because you're not going to injure anyone or anything bad is going to happen to the business, then I would set up as a sole trader. So all you need to do is register for self-assessment with HMRC and tell them that you are setting up as a sole trader. You then record all of your income and all of your expenses for the year. And then at the end of the tax year, your tax return will be due. You have until the 31st of January to file your tax return, and you just file the profit and you pay tax on the profit. So that's the easiest way to set up and the most cost effective, because you don't need to hire an accountant. You can do that on your own. Obviously, if you don't feel comfortable enough doing it on your own, then you can still hire an accountant to do it, and they will charge you a lot lower fee than if you had a limited company. On the other hand, if you did set up as a limited company, the benefit of this is that you have something called limited liability. So you are separate from your limited company. If you own a house or lots of assets that are worth a lot of money and you get sued, if you have a limited company, your company gets sued, the only thing up for grabs is what is in the company, and they can't take your personal assets. So if you're setting up something high risk, I would always recommend setting up a limited company to start with, just because you want to protect yourself personally. But if you're just selling online products, you're a small business, no risk, then go down the sole trade route. Also, setting up a limited company comes with admin costs. You have to set up a company, which costs at the moment £50 on Companies House, and then you have annual accounts, corporation tax return, and your personal tax return as well for dividends, which can cost you around £1,000 to say £3,000 for all of that, depending on which accountant you go with. So now you have your idea and now you have your business set up. The next thing that you're probably going to want to do is get business insurance. Again, just in case something goes wrong, if you have insurance, then the insurance should pay out on your behalf rather than you having to fork the bill for whatever you have been sued for or anything that has gone wrong. If you have set up as a sole trade, you will get the business insurance in your sole trade name. And if you set up as a limited company, make sure you get it in your company's name and not your personal name. If you set up as a sole trade, what I would recommend is just opening another bank account in your name or having like a savings account where all of your income and expenses go into, just because it's a bit easier to track it. Otherwise, you're going to have to go through all of your personal bank statements and work out which was personal expenses and which was business expenses and then list them all out. So it is just easier if you have a separate bank account. If you have a limited company, once you set up your limited company, you can take your incorporation certificate to the bank or set up an online bank account, and then I would put all transactions through the limited company bank account. If you did incur costs personally before the limited company bank account was set up, you can still claim these back. Just make sure you let your accountant know all of these costs and they can have these reimbursed to you via your director's loan account. And then the third thing that you need to think about once you've got your idea and your business set up and all the admin is done is probably the most important thing, is the marketing and obviously making sales, because you could have the best products in the world and if no one knows about it, no one is going to buy it. So these are a couple of things that I did when I was starting my first business and I had no money in terms of marketing. So the first thing that I would do is I would go through all of my phone contacts and anyone that I think is relevant, or even just anyone, just send them a message being like, hey, I've just started this new business. Like, if you know anyone that's interested, let me know. And then you might get some referrals through that way. The second thing that I would do is join loads of Facebook groups. There are thousands of Facebook groups, especially if you're selling something in a specific area. When I was teaching Taekwondo, I was in Kent, so I joined all the Facebook groups in Kent and I made a little Facebook ad. You can do this on Canva, which is free, or you can just make one online, or you can just do a video of yourself on your phone being like, hey, this is what I do. Tell people how you're going to solve their problems, how you're going to target their pain points, and you're going to fix that for them. And then you can post that ad into the Facebook groups, and then people will obviously see your ad, and then if they're interested, then they will buy your product. And then once you've got a couple of people through the door, you can do things like referral schemes. So let's say your product sells for £100. If you can get someone through the door and you pay a cost of £10, then that's going to be worth it because you made a £90 profit. So you can say to people that have already joined your business or already sold from you, like, hey, hope you enjoyed the service, the product. I would love to send you a £10 Starbucks voucher if you refer a client to me. Then if they refer you, you pay them the £10 voucher and then you get a sale. So you're still making a good profit margin. So if you're still really struggling to make sales, then what you could do in the beginning is sell for free or sell for a very low price, and in return ask people for reviews or testimonials. So for example, when I started my fitness business and I didn't have any clients at all, I ran promotions that were like really low price, and it was join the program, do the program, and if you enjoyed it, then like leave a testimonial or a review for me, and then those testimonials and reviews or before and after photos I can then use to create authority in the space. So if I have an Instagram page or a Facebook page, I can have all of those as pinned posts at the top, so when someone is looking at my product or service, they come straight to the page, they see that I provide results or I have answered the pain points that people have, so their struggles have been solved, and that creates authority in the space. So say if you do that 10 times, you get 10 reviews, 10 photos, whatever it is, that creates authority, and then people come to your page and they're like, oh, this person says they can do what they say they do, and then people buy from you. So yes, it might not be profitable in the beginning, but if that's what you need to do to create business, then that's what you need to do. And then if you're serious about making your business work and grow, then what I would do is try and reinvest as much money back into the business as possible to make the processes easier and quicker, and into marketing as well. So if I spend 5 hours a day doing a process and I could spend £100 a month making that process 1 hour instead of 5, I've now got 4 extra hours in my day that I can use to make more money for the business. So you want to reinvest the money to make the business more efficient and reinvest the money in marketing. So what I mean by marketing is I would use paid ads. So I would create a video and I would talk directly to people's pain points, give your authority about why they should use you, and then give how you will help them. So as an example, as an accountant, I could say, does your accountant take forever to reply? Are you constantly getting late bills from HMRC, overdue accounts? Like, is this something that you're struggling with? Give my authority. I'm a chartered accountant. I've been in the space for 8 years and my mission is to help solve all of these problems for people. And then this is how I do it. And then I explain a little bit about how I do it. That talks to their pain, gives me the authority of what I do, and then answers the question of how I will help them, and then have a link to book a call or something like that. And then with that advert, I would then target people specifically in the demographic that I'm looking for. So I'm a UK based accountant, so I'd be targeting people in the UK, people that are entrepreneurs, have businesses, and you can put all of this into the search bar for the ad, and then people that search for these things or have spoke about these things or like these things, the ad will then be pushed to those people specifically, so that your ad is being shown in front of the right people. So they're my 3 tips for setting up a business. 1, what is your idea? How do you solve a problem? Do you have a skill? Is it going to make money? 2, set up the business structure, get the admin done. And then 3, how are you going to market and make money in the space? And setting up a business isn't the only way to make wealth. You could climb the corporate ladder and earn £100,000, £200,000, invest that money, and that will create you wealth. But it really depends on what your definition of wealth is. For me, wealth is having financial freedom, but also time freedom. If I work for a corporate, I have to be working 9 to 5 in the office in the UK. I can't go and work from Thailand, from Bali, from Dubai, wherever I want to be and the hours that I want to work. With having your own business, you can create financial freedom, but you can also create time freedom to run your business from wherever you want and whenever you want. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll create some more for you, and I will see you again next week.